Imagine a theater where stories are not told with words, but sung, danced, and brought to life through colors and symbols. This is Peking opera, a unique art form that emerged in the late 18th century during the Qing dynasty. Born from the fusion of various regional theatrical styles, it developed its own unmistakable language of movement, sound, and color. In this world, there is no need to know the story in advance, a single glance at the performers is enough. Their gestures, voices, and the colors of their faces instantly reveal who is the hero, who is the villain, who schemes in the shadows, and who brings laughter to the stage. The characters of Peking opera are divided into four main categories: sheng, noble male roles, from young scholars to dignified generals; dan, female roles, from gentle ladies to fearless warriors; jing, bold, painted faces representing warriors, schemers, and supernatural beings; chou, clowns, witty and mischievous characters who add a playful dimension to the story. In this theater, colors are not mere decoration, they are a language of their own. Red signifies loyalty and courage, black represents honesty and integrity, blue and green symbolize wild strength, while white reveals cunning and intrigue. And gold and silver? They belong to the gods and spirits. In Peking opera, words do not speak, colors, movements, and melodies do. Each performance becomes a living painting, unfolding right before the audience's eyes. At first glance, Peking opera may seem to have only four main character types: sheng, dan, jing, and chou. But when we delve deeper, we discover that each of these categories is divided into many subtypes, considering age, personality, character traits, and even singing or combat styles. That is why the color of a mask is not always solid. For example, chou, the comic characters, often have just a small white dot on their nose, a symbol of cleverness and wit, though not necessarily of deceit. Every detail of the makeup carries meaning, helping the audience instantly recognize a character's nature. The music and singing in Peking opera sound unusual to our ears because they are based on entirely different principles than Western music. Instead of the 7-tone scale, do-re-mi, it uses a 5-tone pentatonic scale, creating melodies that may sound unfamiliar to us. Since Chinese is a tonal language, each note must precisely match the correct pronunciation, otherwise, the meaning of the words could change. The singing style of Peking opera has a distinct and piercing quality, high-pitched, nasal, and full of dramatic vibrato. In the past, even female roles were played by men, which is why this vocal technique has retained its sharp and urgent tone. Moreover, actors had no microphones, so their voices had to be powerful and penetrating to reach even the farthest seats in the theater. The atmosphere is further enriched by the traditional Chinese orchestra. The jinghu, a high-pitched string instrument, creates sharp, expressive tones, while gongs dramatically emphasize emotions. Every strike, every note carries meaning, because in Peking opera, it is not only the actor who speaks, but also the music itself. One of the most famous performances in Peking opera is the story of the clever maid, known as Romance of the Western Chamber. This classic Chinese novel was written by Wang Shifu in the 13th century during the Yuan dynasty, and its plot is filled with love, intrigue, and social obstacles. To make the story more relatable, let's give the main characters our names and align them with traditional Chinese opera roles. Chou, Clara, the cunning and witty maid; Hong Yang, who cleverly devises a plan to unite the lovers. As a chou character, she adds humor and sharp intelligence to the story. Dan, Sophia, Ying, the beautiful young lady from a wealthy family who falls deeply in love with a scholar. As a Qingyi Dan, she embodies grace, virtue, and inner strength. Sheng, Daniel, Zhang Sheng, a talented but poor student who longs for Sophia's love. He represents the Shaoxing type, young, refined, and romantic. Jing, Ying's mother, a strict and authoritative woman who insists on marrying her daughter off to a wealthy man. As a Lao Jing, she embodies a commanding presence, power, and rigidity in the story. This love triangle, or rather, love quadrangle, forms the foundation of a classic romantic tale, where love is tested by societal rules. In Peking opera, this story unfolds through music, stunning costumes, expressive movements, and symbolic mask colors that enhance the characters' personalities. Hong Yang, our Clara, the wise maid, believes that true love deserves a chance. Do you think she will manage to outsmart fate and unite Sophia with her beloved? On the outskirts of a bustling city, hidden among ancient trees, stands a temple, a place of peace and spiritual refuge. It is here that the paths of Sophia, her mother, and Daniel, a young scholar, intertwine. Sophia and her mother arrive at the temple to find temporary shelter. Sophia has been raised under the strict rules of high society, yet in her heart, there is a longing for something more. Something that cannot be bought with wealth, something no mother can command, true emotion. Daniel is a young scholar, his life filled with study and a thirst for knowledge. He is not wealthy, but his mind is sharp and his heart is pure. When their eyes meet for the first time in the temple courtyard, the world around them ceases to exist. There are no social rules, no past, no future, only the present moment, in which something strong and unexpected is born. But the world is not kind to such stories. Sophia's mother knows that her daughter must marry well, to someone of their social class, not to a poor scholar. If Daniel wishes to win her hand, he must prove himself through great merit, something that will elevate him beyond his lowly status. And this is where Clara, the wise and cunning maid, steps onto the stage. She watches everything unfold with a knowing smile. Clara has a plan, and not just any plan. She knows that Sophia and Daniel's love has no place in this world. But if the direct path is blocked, she'll take a detour. During their stay at the hotel, she secretly arranges their meetings, delivers messages, and helps them communicate through poems and letters. But that's not enough. She must make Sophia's mother realize that her daughter's heart already belongs to one man. And so, cunning takes the stage. She accidentally ensures that the mother catches them together, planting the first seed of doubt. Perhaps a harmless rumor, a fabricated prophecy of fated love, or a hint of danger where Daniel proves his courage. It must all seem like destiny. And yet, behind it all, stands one clever maid with a sly smile. In the end, even the strictest rules must yield to the power of true emotion. Sophia's mother finally gives in. Daniel may be poor, but his wisdom, perseverance, and character have earned her respect. The social barriers that once stood firmly between him and her daughter now seem small and insignificant. And so she yields. Sophia and Daniel can finally marry. But this isn't just a story about love. It's also about the cleverness and courage of Clara, whose wise and subtle actions made it possible for them to be together. Thanks to her cunning plans and quiet determination, love finds its way. And so the story comes to an end. True love has triumphed over social rules. In the background stands Clara, smiling softly and knowingly, proud to have gently guided destiny's hand. Every love story is also a story of courage, cleverness, and breaking through rules. This particular story is not exclusively Chinese, its echoes can also be found in Western fairy tales, plays, or operas. Just think of Cleopatra and her clever maid, whose wit and subtle intrigue helped shape destinies and shift the course of events. Or recall Shakespeare's plays such as A Midsummer Night's Dream or The Comedy of Errors, filled with secret letters, hidden plots, and cunning servants who quietly altered fate. Emotions recognize no boundaries of culture or time. And that's why, even if we might not fully understand the exotic tones or symbolism of Beijing opera, we can still deeply feel and appreciate the emotions behind it. Because in the end, feelings, love, courage, and cunning, are the same everywhere, whether it's ancient China, Shakespeare's England, or our modern world.